I'm just tagging this girl. Like, yo, I'm smashing.
At a certain point, you don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not sharing. You know what I mean? It wasn't that kind of party.
I bet you anything. The seller, he knows who I'm talking about. Whoever is in the audience, and if he's watching this video, you know who I'm talking about. You were there, man. And he heard some stuff.
Leave a comment down below.
He heard some stuff like, some really weird stuff from the girl. like
please stop, don't do that, it hurts, get off of me.
No, like she was saying actually smack me.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Man First Podcast brought to you by Zero Grid Studios. I am Mixed.
I am J0.
All right, so we want to change up a little bit. We've dropped our very first 3 episodes, and I like the way it looks, but we want to experiment a little bit, see what they like, most importantly, and see what looks good. So on this video, you're gonna see a little border, right? You're gonna see a little border around us, right? And just so let us know what y'all think. Make sure you put some comments down there. And one of our biggest goals right now, we want to get as many subscribers as possible so that we can continue to grow, hear what you guys have to say. We want to hear feedback from y'all so we can bring up topics on our show on top of the topics that we already want to bring up. Today, I just want to talk about in our last couple of videos, we were talking about fear of failure. And we want to acknowledge our weaknesses and acknowledge our fears, right?
Yeah, our flaws,
right? So why not? Let's just do it.
I don't want to.
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it.
I don't want to be embarrassed.
Nah, man. Ain't nothing embarrassed. Ain't nothing embarrassed about reality, man.
I want to stay in my box, though. I'm so comfortable right here.
Fuck that box.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah, let's get it out there, man.
All right, so
true authenticity.
But here's a benefit, right? So the benefit of acknowledging all of our failures is that there's a lesson in it. You know, anybody. When I was in the military, a little quick story. I was in a position where I was in LPO or E6, and I had to. I tried to avoid writing people up because that's just not my thing, right?
Oh, you played it nice.
I didn't play it nice. I was just too lazy. I didn't care enough to want to.
He said lazy.
I was just lazy, right? I didn't want to go through all the admin stuff.
Flaw.
Right. Flaw. No, I wanted to stay away from all that stuff. I didn't want to get into the NJP and all that crap. You know, I wanted to be away from administrative stuff, right? One day my chief comes up to me and said, "No, you got to write it up. You have to do it. I'm telling you, you have to do it." I'm like, fuck.
You will do it.
You will do it, or I will write you up. Like, damn it. I just want to get out. But anyway, I had to write this kid up, and when we were having the sit down conversation, hey, what's going on? Because you want to figure that stuff out first, right? Maybe they're doing something because something personal in their life is happening. So you want to get kind of an idea of what's happening. And he just wanted to get it over with and be like, all right, yeah, if you're gonna write me up, go ahead, write me up. I'm like, well, hold on, like I'm trying to figure out what's going on, right? Like what's happening, what's causing. Because you're not normally doing this. You're normally a good sailor, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Just write it up. I'm like, I'm starting to get mad now. I'm trying to extend an olive. I don't even want to be here. Like, I'm trying to extend an olive branch so you can be successful in the future. I don't want to write you up. Maybe there's something happening.
Don't you think was easy? Like, you should have been like, oh, okay, all right.
I do care.
There was something about that situation.
A part of me was like, maybe there's something going on he don't want to say. Maybe he just doesn't give a shit, and that pissed me off. But I'm still hindering. I'm on the edge of maybe something's going on. But if he doesn't give a shit, now I'm mad, right? So it basically got to a point where I was like, look, man, do you even care that you're being written up right now? Do you realize what you made a mistake in doing? He's like, I mean, yeah, I get it. Just write it up. I was like, motherfucker. like, look, man, look, man. Look, I don't know. Okay. Understand something. You were given a task. You didn't do it. I don't know why you keep bringing it. I don't know why you keep saying it. It's just like, so you just want to just skip straight past this part. You just want to get
the consequences.
You just want the consequence, and you want to act like it never happened, and then you're just perfect in your own little world. It just started to escalate after that, and I was like, it bothered me. You know what I mean? As much as I didn't want to be there anymore, I cared about the people who were going to be there after I was gone.
I'm so different. I would have been like, oh, okay, yeah. All right, well, you go your way, I'll go my way. I'm glad we had this talk.
Basically, is what it was. I wanted to be helpful. I wanted to, because I knew I was leaving, and I wasn't the best LPO for them. Mm-hmm. I said that on my last day. I was like, I'm not the best LPO for you, but I want to at least do something to help you out, so you're not. So if I do write you up, at least I can set you on the right track afterward.
Yeah, right.
He just wanted to blow it off. Like, it meant nothing to him. It didn't have any effect on him. And that made me so.
I made a bunch of sailors like that, man.
Yeah, it made me so mad. I was like, look, man, there's something to learn from your failure. There's a mistake you made. Go through take your hits, as we used to say. We didn't actually hit anybody, but take your hits, take your licks, is what we really say. Mm-hmm. Take your licks, learn, move on. Don't make the same mistake again.
Yeah, acknowledge the situation at least.
Take accountability.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Acknowledge it. Like, come out and say it.
Right.
I messed up. You told me to do something. I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. I earned where I'm at right now with this punishment, this discipline, right? But he wouldn't do it. He just wanted to go through the steps. It made me so frustrated. So that's why I want to do this today. You know, if we ignore our failures, our shortcomings, if we ignore the bad choices that we make, we're doomed to repeat it.
Right.
That's why we learn history, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you learn history so the history doesn't repeat itself. You know what I mean? So fuck, let's just do it.
There's a saying though, you know, what you just said about, you know, you learn from history, but if we keep on, I guess, paying attention to the past, how are we to move forward though?
No, it's you learn history because history can't be rewritten. History can't be rewritten, right? So you learn what happened and then you apply it to your future.
Right.
You're not constantly looking at the past. You learn it, and once you learn it, it's in there. You don't have to focus on it.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's how
I always heard that saying, like, you know, hey, if we keep on talking about the past, all these negative things, like, right, how are we supposed to move forward? You know, like, I guess when it comes down to the, Black people, well, us Black people, the whole slavery thing and all that kind of stuff.
When you say us, you mean like me and you, or?
I mean, Black people.
I'm like kind of Black.
Yeah, it's in there. It's but you know what I mean? Like, when people start talking about, it's because I'm Black and all this kind of stuff, my people back and, my ancestors. Right. I'm like, yo.
That's what happens when you focus on the past.
Yeah.
You have to learn from the past and be able to move forward with the information that you took from the past.
Yeah, because you would say that, racism is not as prevalent. Prevalent as it is today. But when you start bringing up the whole, my ancestors were on the ship, we came here, we were forced, and all that kind of stuff, like, yo, yeah, we're not there anymore. Stop that.
Right. Well,
yeah. But that was just one of the things that.
When people focus on the past, it can keep you there to where you're just in the past and there's no future because you're in the past.
Right.
It's hard enough to live in the present, but you want to live in the past. And the past is just a huge story of just failures after bad choices, bad decisions. There's some great things in the past as well, like the inventions and the country formations and things like that, and great figures of the history, historical figures and such, accomplishments. But there's also a lot of horrible, scary things that we've done to each other in the past.
Yeah.
So if we focus on that, then we're just stuck. There's no going forward at that point. Like I said, it's a learning opportunity to look at the past. You don't want to hide it. Act like it never happened because you're doomed to repeat what you did because you obviously haven't learned your lesson. And taking accountability, owning up to it. Like, yeah, I did this. I make sure I won't do it. Not only will I not do it again, I'll make sure the guy coming underneath me, the guy following my footsteps doesn't do the same set, namely our kids, right?
Yeah.
Our legacy, right? You want to make sure you provide them with the information that you've accrued over your lifetime.
Yeah, you pass down that knowledge. Yeah.
Pass down the knowledge. So it's not in anybody's benefit. It's namely yourself, namely man first, to act like the mistakes you made never happened. That's all ego driven. You know, that's all what's it called? A sociopath, psychopath. Like they don't connect right and wrong. So what they do is never wrong. The world is wrong. I'm right. The world is wrong. Screw that, man.
Like the world revolves around you, huh? Oh.
Yeah, that's the Woman First podcast.
Oh man, dude.
Send all hate mail to Zero Grid Studios at gmail.com.
And cancel.
Well, it was fun, bro. I appreciate you.
Hey, we did the best.
Hey, man. Or we just did some stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
You said something about a hot seat. Man first hot seat.
Actually,
you want to hold off on that one?
Yeah, we'll hold off to the next show because that has nothing. That's like totally off. So, go ahead. I wanted to say that I can't be a hypocrite. You know, when I was trying to, I guess, lecture on my niece and nephews, I was like, "Yo, I've been in your shoes. Like, yo, I understand your situation. Like, and I understand your grandmother is trying to, send you to college, get an education. She instilled that on me and my sister as well. But, what you're doing when you're going to college, just remember what you're there for, because I was in that seat, and what you're doing right now, these mistakes and these choices that you're making, not really paying attention to the teacher, not really focusing on your work, not studying, not getting your work done on time. I was there because I guess, what is it, the chapter 31, the VA benefit, I guess, where you get the allowance.
Sounds good.
Is that what it is?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, it's one of those chapters where you get the allowance every month because you're in school and you're getting good grades. Well, they're focusing on what? The money. They're not really paying attention to the, whatchamacallit,
so they were going for the money, not necessarily for the education.
And they were focusing, hang out with friends and, not focusing on the work, not really studying. Oh, I don't like the teacher. I'm like, you're not there to like the teacher.
Right,
what are you doing? But, going back to that, it's just that I made that mistake. That was like one of my biggest flaws.
Like when you went to school?
Yeah, when I went to school, is that I didn't really focus. I was, when you got me the job at the transporter, I was working. I was working full time in the hospital, and I was going to school full time. That was tiring, man.
Yeah,
it's like, I was trying to do both, but guess what I was doing? I was trying to get money and I was trying to get money. So I was just going to school, but was I really studying? Was I really going to work? I mean, was I really studying and doing the work, paying attention? That was like one of my biggest flaws. Like I wasted all that money coming in, but I didn't get nothing out of it. I was just focusing on getting the money. And like I said, I was trying to instill that into my niece and nephew. It's like, yo, you guys gotta really focus not just on the money, focus on school, get the education, get the certificate. So that was like one of my biggest.
Well, you see, even verbalizing everything you just said, you get to realize that anybody who wants to come from a position of tutelage or knowledge has to self-reflect and be like, wait a minute, am I a hypocrite? Because how can I tell these people how to do these certain things if I did the exact thing they're doing way back when? There's many ways you can approach that. One way is, if an alcoholic tells you don't pick up any alcohol, are you not going to listen because they're an alcoholic? Mm-hmm. Like, they're alcoholic. Their life probably has a lot of problems in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because they're an alcoholic doesn't mean their story is less valid. So there's different ways to approach that sort of thing. But being honest, being accountable, it passes up everything. Because now you have credibility. Mm-hmm. People with no credibility, oh my God. I knew a guy, oh man.
Now go ahead, man.
There's this guy I worked with, and we started on the same day. No matter what story he told you, he always came out on top. He was always the best at whatever he ever did. He was one of those one-upper type guys, right? Mm-hmm. No matter what he did, he was always, he never got beat. He never got better. He never got bested. He was one of those type of fucking guys. Perfect. just perfect in every sense of the way. And then, you hear these stories and you just hear them so much that eventually I just started like just kind of sliding out of frame. So I just wanted to get away from him. Fast forward a couple of weeks, he's telling the same stories to somebody else that he would tell to me, but they're completely different. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm just listening to him, and then this, and then this, and like, he told me the same damn story, but it was not the way what he's saying now. It was like now he's upping it. Like, not all, he didn't make 10 grand on this thing.
He blew it up.
He made 25 grand on it. I'm like, that's a big disparity. So I was like, okay. So then I call him out on it one day. I said, man, you told me you only got this and this. No, man, you weren't. No, because that's not considering the. I'm like, here we go. Like, dude, your credibility's shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm no longer listening to you. I can't, because you're basically boosting yourself at the expense of reality, of truth. And I stay away from people like that.
You know, because they actually start believing their own story.
Yes.
Man.
It's called delusions of grandeur, where you start having an inflated sense of yourself, of self-worth and whatever, but you're basically building yourself into being something bigger than what you actually are. And then dude, it's like the end of that rainbow is just a fall straight down to the floor. It's like you're not where you want, where you're saying you are. So when the expectation is up here and you're down here, you're just letting yourself down, and you're letting all the people that looked up to you down, because now you're exposed. We hear all the time about celebrities. They said this and they said that, and it turns out this was true. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean,
got a lot of fact checking going on.
I mean,
now.
we got what we got going on right now. We got old Papa Diddy Pop going, you know, old Lube Diddy, you know. So
the diddler
going on. You know, we thought it was this, but it's actually that. You know, so he was up here, but he's really right down here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That credibility is just shot.
Done. Like, he's done. He's never gonna.
I don't even want to hear the name anymore.
Right.
The next name, I think the next time we'll hear that name is in the courtroom, pretty much.
Oh yeah, we're gonna hear a lot of that in the courtroom.
It's gonna be the what is it? The O.J. Simpson case in a sort of way of this era, right? No,
I don't know, because that court, the whole viewership of that court case was divided. It was like, either you believe he did it, which means you were white at the time, and then you had the other who believed he was innocent, who were black, even though half of the people who cheered that he was free thought he did. I think that motherfucker did that shit.
Oh yeah.
With Dave Chappelle, that motherfucker did that shit. Yeah. I have a story about one of my failures. I don't know if I should bring this up, being that I'm married.
What? Oh man, what are you about to tell us?
I don't think I should. I want to, because I want to be open. I want to be like when Howard Stern was fresh.
This is your epic failure? Is that what you're about to say?
An epic failure, not an epic failure, but a failure nonetheless, because of the way it happened.
Does this failure follow you? Do you let this follow?
No. Okay. It doesn't affect me, but it's a cool story. That's another thing about being real and acknowledging your failures. Mm-hmm. They're cool stories after a while. Okay, I was in the Navy, so you know this is gonna be a good story. I was in the Navy, and we went to Singapore, and me and my Liberty buddy, you had to be out there with another guy or another person from your ship. We went to this club, and we see these girls dancing, and there's 3 girls. One of them was very attractive. 2 of them were very attractive. One of them was a bit hefty.
Why is that always the thing?
It's just rules, I guess. Like, women just have to roll that way.
I would say something, but go ahead.
One was a bit hefty. Now, my buddy was a little drunk. You know, he drank a little bit. You know, no big deal. He wasn't drunk, but he wasn't like blackout drunk or anything. He controlled himself, but he was feeling good. You know, a little tipsy, I guess. I don't know if that's still a thing. So we just start talking to these girls, and one of the good looking ones, and through my eyes, what I would say is attractive, said she had to work in the morning, so she had to leave. So we're like, okay, cool. So that leaves one of the women who I thought was attractive and the other one who I didn't think was attractive. So
I'm starting to think I know where this is going.
So if anybody has ever heard of a wingman.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
I've been a victim to that, man. I have a story just like that.
Look, man, if it's wingman status, it's okay.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know what I mean? If
It's like you're taking one for the team.
taking one for the team because they got to do it for you one day.
I call it when it was a term. I say we called it deep sea diving. We put those goggles on and we made sure it was blurry. We didn't clear it up. Yo, we went deep sea diving.
Well, all right. Well,
go ahead.
So we look at each other and we're like, okay. Now, don't get me wrong. She wasn't like obese or she wasn't like just so amazingly unattractive. She just wasn't what I would, in the situation of being overseas, of the numbers of opportunity you can have out there, she's not the one I would go after. I dance with her just because, you can't just dance with one, you dance with a friend. There's a little bit of sweat on the lower back that you can feel.
And you don't drink, do you?
I don't drink. No, I was sober.
Oh my God.
Sober as a priest.
Oh, stop the show.
Sober. Stone sober.
I don't see how you could do it. I had to. Oh man.
Look, well, no. Here's the thing.
All right.
It wasn't situated yet, but we talked. We had a little sidebar. All right. We had a sidebar and we said, look, man, I'm not sure. This is our conversation. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get with the good looking one or the other one. I don't know if you're going to get. So here's the truth. Here's the agreement we have to make.
Damn, paper, rock, scissors. Man. Well.
No, because we didn't know, because we didn't get any clear indications on what's what. But they were cool with going back to the hotel. But there was no, like automatic, this is what it is. She's with him, she's with me, whatever. So we told ourselves, like, look, man, whatever happens, you can't back out. And we were like, that's
not how you say, that's that bro code, right?
Bro code. Yeah. Hardcore trump card, right? Yeah. Bro code. I invoke the power of bro code.
And you
cannot back out. No matter who it is, because like I said, it wasn't established yet.
Yeah.
The pairings, it wasn't established yet. Even if there was going to be something, right, which wasn't established either. So maybe nothing was going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. But we just said, if this goes somewhere, you can't back out, right? So we're like, cool. Get back to the hotel, and we're chilling, watching. I have a bed. He has a bed. The unattractive one sits on my bed. The attractive one sits on his bed. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I can't back out. I have to do this. Bro code. Bro code. Yo. I have to do this. I'm just in my head. I'm just like, man, I can't back out, man. Maybe I can say my knee hurts or something. Maybe I can fake a heart attack or something. No, I can't do it. I gotta do it, man. I told him I'd do it because he have to do it if it was the other way around. For about 30 minutes, I'm psyching myself up. I have to get in the mind space of what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. And I've never experienced anything of this
magnitude, huh?
I wasn't going to say magnitude.
It's been something worse.
I wasn't going to say magnitude. I've never experienced this situation, but I knew I had to do it. So about, I said 30 minutes. So, a little bit longer after that. I'm like, okay. We've watched a movie. It's about that time. Get this second after party started. And Matt and dude, they were from, I don't know where they were from, but they started speaking another language, right? And they start talking to each other. The cute one gets on my bed, and the other one gets on his bed. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck just happened right now?
That twist just happened.
I was like, what? Because in my head, I'm about to experience some shit that I've never. Now the good looking one sits on my bed, and I'm just. I don't know how to. I don't like. Is he cool? Like, is he gonna go by the code? Because I psyched myself up for 35 minutes.
Was he looking at you or what? I mean, what was his reaction?
You gotta remember. He was tipsy. He had some alcohol in him. So
he was like, fuck yeah, huh?
So fuck it,
let's get on. Let's get it on.
I don't know. I don't know where. Right. So yeah, tag out. Okay. Yeah,
I'll wrestle with this bear. I'll get it.
I don't think those were the words, but
I'll get it on with Yokozuna.
I'll climb that mountain. from my bro. Well, so we start getting into it a little bit. You know, lights get turned out, and now, to be honest, and this is where the good story part comes around. After the whole build-up, there's way more details into the build-up of it, but I'm trying to glance through it when it was taking a long time. Nothing happened. At the end of it all, nothing happened.
Wait, what?
Right. Yeah. So we started, you know, kissing and touching and stuff, got under the blankets and everything, but she was uncomfortable being in the same room with her friend, and her friend didn't give a shit. They were going at it, like not going at it.
That actually happened to me twice.
Right. Yeah.
I actually had, you know, one of my friends from the ship. He was on the other bed.
Yeah.
And I'm just tagging this girl like, yo, I'm smashing.
At a certain point, you don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not sharing. You know what I mean? It wasn't that kind of party.
I bet you anything. The seller, he knows who I'm talking about. Whoever is in the audience, and if he's watching this video, you know who I'm talking about. You were there, man. And he heard some stuff.
Leave a comment down below.
He heard some stuff like, you know, some really weird stuff from the girl. like
please stop, don't do that, it hurts, get off of me.
No, like she was saying actually smack me. Yo, I was like, huh? I was drunk and I was messed up, but you know, it was. But
do I dare ask the race of this young lady?
Oh, she was a white girl. It was a Seattle white girl, man.
Seattle, so she has some. Oh, I'm even gonna go there. Okay.
Yeah.
So
she would. We did meet up a couple of times after that, but you know, it was like an off and on. She just hit me up at the door. I want to see you again. I'm like,
you're in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I'm not. That's not how this works.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I said, long story made longer, trying to cut it down short. Nothing happened. Like she was uncomfortable being in the same room with her friends. So she was asking maybe we can get another room. I was like, I can't. It's against our rules in the Liberty Buddy system in the Navy. You can't have your own separate room. You have to be in the same room. So I was like, I can't. You know, I'm like, come on, they're good. Like they're doing their thing. Like let's, you know, we're good. And she's got a point where she's like, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm like, all right. So we stopped, and she talked her friend into stopping, and then they left. And it was just a funny evening because the turn of events and everything. Do I consider it a failure? Yeah, because it was a good lesson to learn. I learned a lot about myself because I wasn't mad. Mm-hmm. I wasn't angry at her. I didn't shout at her. I didn't call her names and everything. She said no, and I was like, you know, I mean, obviously, I was like, come on, we're good. You know, don't worry about her. Don't worry about her. She good. She over there. She doing her thing. You good? I ain't gonna hurt you. But then she said no, and then I was like, all right, can't do nothing. So it's technically a failure, but technically a good fail. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's one of the best kinds of fails. Like you thought you built up the whole night for this moment. You get to that moment, and my mind was like, I'm about to, you know, harpoon this whale. but it flips, and now I'm thinking, oh, the world was right again. Everything's right with the world again, and then it just stops. Nothing happens.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? It was just a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And you said, oh, I don't want to go back into that. Girl, when
it was a mutual thing. Like, you know, she allowed it. She said it. Yeah. Yeah, she allowed it. She said, smack me. You know, like I said, and I do have a witness.
Like her face.
Yeah. She was.
You gotta be careful.
I'm talking about like, yeah, that's true too.
You gotta be careful with that shit, man.
Yeah, that's true. But she was cool, and like I said, I'm and just out of nowhere.
You don't want to be rude.
Yeah. I was like, well, okay.
Dude, the first time a girl told me to choke her, scared the shit out of me, man.
Yeah.
Because I was young. I was like 18 the first time I heard 18 or 19 when a woman first told me to choke her. And it scared me because my hand, it was kind of like here in this area, and my thumb happened to be right here. So that gave her the sensation of, oh, it's by my throat. It just got weird.
That was,
I was like, I don't know what to do.
I think that was actually my first time a woman telling me to actually physically
assault her.
Yeah. Physically hit her, you know, and allowing it during that. And I was like, yo,
I don't know if we can say this kind of stuff.
I'm starting to want and canceled.
All right. It was a good run.
All right. But yeah, Wow, man, my failure, man. I think I've already talked about it, just the whole divorce thing, man.
Mhm.
Like I said, I was, it's just short story short, it was like I was the woman in that relationship. And I think the biggest pathetic part about it, I want to say epic, and it still follows me to this day,
Mhm.
is what the aftermath after the divorce, how I felt. I felt like I lost who I was because you're in this relationship for so long and you built up this persona of the good husband,
Yeah.
the guy that that was with the kids, the stepdaddy,
Mhm.
and it just ended. Like, what do I do now? And I had all of these, money problems as well because I didn't have a job. I had to go find me one and stuff. But I guess in a sort of way, I was still wanting her to take care of this stuff. And
Right.
that's when I felt like I was not a man at all anymore because I was sitting here begging her to, take care of this stuff, take care of these items. I think it was like tablets, it was TVs, all electronic stuff. And I was telling her, well, if you're not going to take care of it, I need you to send that stuff to me. And she was like, no, I'm not going to send it to you. I'm like, okay, but you want me to pay on this stuff and I don't have it. Like,
Right,
that doesn't
right.
make sense to me.
If she's gonna keep it, she needs to pay for it.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
what I was trying to get at. She said, I already gave you the money. And I was like, well, $700 is not going to take care of everything. You and I both went in together buying this stuff and it's
Mhm.
in my name. But, I think the most pathetic part about it was just, me begging her to take care of these things.
Right.
I felt way less of a man. And I can't stop thinking about it. Like, yo, I would never, ever feel like that again. And so I started over. I got myself a job, 2 jobs, to pay for everything. And I did eventually pay it off. But that was I would say, the most epic failure for me, just
Mhm.
after that divorce.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been in positions where I relied on other people for money, like namely before I was in the Navy, like when I was a teenager and stuff. But I didn't even realize I was so dependent on other folks, namely my mom and people that my family. But that's just how I was raised.
Mhm.
I mean, when you're a kid, obviously you can't take care of yourself. You start at about 12, 13. That's when that transition starts into how it used to start when you had dad at home.
Mhm.
Dad would be like, get your ass up and go take that garbage out. I didn't have that with my mom. No,
Mhm.
granted, we did take the garbage out every now and again, but we didn't. We would complain when my mom would ask us to do it. Like, why I gotta take it out? Why? Something you couldn't do with dad, but dad wasn't home. That mom and dad divorced when I was really young. But when I went to my dad's house, I did anything he told me to do because I didn't want to hear that voice.
Right.
I didn't want to hear that voice.
When I had a stepdad, I didn't want to see that look. He would just give you that
The look and the voice.
Mm.
I didn't want to cause that. We would get called. Anyway. But so as you're 12, 13, that's when that transition starts into now you're becoming a young man.
Mhm.
But I didn't have that transition. I was still into the everything's right in the world and everything comes to me and everything just magically happens. Next thing I know, I'm graduating high school. Not going to college. I graduated with like a 2.9 GPA or some bullshit. I have no relationship. I have no prospects for the future. The fuck am I going to do?
Mhm.
And then I had nothing. I was living with my mother. Was I? Yeah, I was living with my mother with no job, no college aspirations, just nothing.
I mean, your
Right?
father wasn't there to guide you after that, or no?
No, my dad was he had his own struggles, right? He had his own hills he had to climb up, his own downfalls, his own demons he had to slay, right? And as much as he tried to guide us in terms of what not to do,
Mhm.
it got lost because the way he would go about it was he never, for me, I can't speak for my older brother, but for me, he never like physically disciplined me. I never got spanked or hit or slapped or anything like that. But because his voice was all it took for me, it scared the shit out of me. Right? His voice scared I was scared of him. But he, like I said, this is not like a Joe Jackson situation, right? But it got to the point where I became so afraid of him. It wasn't him I was afraid of. It was following rules, because I didn't have to do that with my mom. I did, but not to that degree. I didn't have that dad voice. I remember the time my mom spanked me with a belt and it didn't hurt anymore. So I was like, this is it. Like, okay, I'm good with this now. So I do whatever I want at this point. But my dad was a man. He was a man from that age where my grandpa whooped his ass. You know what I mean? So luckily he never whooped my ass, but it got to a point where he was so into, I will do this to you if you keep messing up. I didn't want to be around him no more. That's where I was. That's where my head was. I didn't want to be around him no more. So since I didn't want to be around him, I didn't have to be around him. So I kind of distanced myself from him. I would see him every now and again, holidays and such. He had some stuff going on. I won't get into it here, but he had his own legitimate reasons why I would not want to be around him. But to get off of that, it's just now I'm 18 with no man discipline, no fear of failure in me, because I've never failed, except for like relationships that ended. We'll get into that. Which I don't think were my fault to this day. But anyway.
God damn it, I was perfect.
I was fucking perfect.
Don't know why she left.
Right. But yeah, that was a failure in itself. Like, I had no preparation. I didn't see. All I wanted was that moment and that day. And then one day, like I say, you graduate and you're just existing now. Now you're just alive.
I know what you're talking about. Like I said, I think that was right after my divorce too. I just felt lost in a sort of way. I mean, right after I got out of high school, it was really different. I mean, like you, I didn't really have a father. I had my mom. And I would say my mom paid attention to my sister more than she did me. So it's like, in a sort of way, I was just lost. And it's probably one of the biggest reasons why I didn't get through school like I was supposed to, because nobody really paid attention to me. I was just like that guy who was trying to get acknowledged doing bad stuff in a sort of way. So I did get held back 2 times. So, first time was on me. Take accountability. It was definitely on me the first time. Second time was because my mom was in the hospital and my sister got pregnant. So me and my sister kind of switched on and off. So absences added up and got held back again. But, like I said, it's like I told you, like not even 3 years ago, I started embracing the man, the manhood, sort of way, because I look at my past, I was like, yo, I was the biggest failure with friends, with family, with myself, biggest of all, it's like, yo, I can't believe this was the old me. You and I even, I would say that JJ, back in, school, it's unreal to me of how I acted, I would say I was definitely the one, even with that, our high school relationship that we will not speak of. I would say that was definitely on me because, like I said, I think, I remember that dance that we went to and I was dancing.
Way more specific than that.
We went to a dance, as a couple, you had your girl, I had my girl. And we were into that dancing thing. We were the ushers and genuines of the dance floor in a sort of way.
Damn right.
And then, girl come out of nowhere and I would dance with that girl. And I had my girlfriend. She was looking at me. And do you remember that or no? Not really. I bet you and Steph were looking at. Oh,
don't say a name.
Oh, my bad.
What you trying to
my bad.
Cancel.
Or dock somebody. But anyways,
I remember a night where we were waiting for them to show up and they were just late because we couldn't go together because her parents didn't want her dating and blah, blah, blah. But we were there we were there. And then I was dancing with some girl and then she shows up and she apparently she walks up right next to me and I didn't see her. And then she walks away. And then I think Mike or you told me, hey man, you know, so-and-so's here. Well, oh, cool. Where is she? I don't know if you want to go see her. I was like, why? She saw you dance with a girl. I'm like, I'm just dancing. Like, I'm not grinding on her or nothing. Yeah. I don't, was that the same night?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the same night. But
I didn't know y'all had that.
The point was, is that, we were young guys. We didn't know, that type of relationship atmosphere. I would say that was pretty much my first relationship. So, but like I said, I look back then, you know, of everything that I went through, especially the, you know, situation you and I went through when we stopped talking.
Right.
I just didn't see the perspective of what you were saying. Like, yo, you're telling me who I can, who I cannot talk to. How dare you? You know, I ain't heard from you in like 2 years. You gonna come out in there and tell me, oh, I don't want you.
I wasn't too. Well, it was like a year, probably about a year, because I left to go to boot camp, and then I had to go to school, and then I got shipped out to. No, I came home for a little bit, and then me and the girl that's involved in this, we were together, but we were on the rocks because of certain things. And then when I went to Japan, like about 2 or 3 weeks in, we separated. But shortly after, what happened, you know, when she started talking to you and stuff, I was like, dude, don't fall for that, man. Like, you got to understand what she's doing right now. Like, she's playing you for a pawn in the game, blah, blah, blah. And then you were like, man, yeah, you know, you go,
yeah, like I said, I thought, you know, I didn't know, like,
right,
you know, the whole bro code and all that kind of stuff. You know,
it didn't apply.
It didn't apply to me, you know. Yeah. It's like, these are things I was not taught, you know. These are not things that I can't say that, you know, I hanged out with other guys and they tell me this kind of stuff. Like I said, I was in my own little box. And so I was just doing what felt good. You know, I was just doing, I'm not going to have nobody come in my life and tell me I can't do this and can't do that. So, but anyways, the thing is that when I look at that era of JJ compared to right now, it's like I'm on the right track right now. You know, it's like I see that as that whole time span. I just think of it as a big failure, you know. That's pretty much the way I look at it.
But you know, like we were talking about, man, every failure that we've ever had was a good life lesson. Things that you can pass on and try to prevent those negative thoughts and feelings to go into somebody else. You know, if you see somebody going down the same path that you went down, you can, like your nephews and such, you can always just like insert yourself and be like, look, man, you can do whatever you want. I did the exact same thing or something very similar to it. I got this, and this because I didn't do this, and this. Take that information with you and you make your own decision. But I'm telling you, if you do this, this is most likely to happen. Yeah. I don't say this is what's going to happen because it could always be different. I just word it into a way like you need to consider all these things before you make a decision on doing this thing that you want to do. All right, so we're at the 40-minute mark. We're gonna wrap it up pretty quick. Let's do a rapid fire failures, right? Because we talk a lot of personal failures, not a whole lot of business failures. I don't have a lot of business background or anything like that, so I'm not saying that we're tycoons or anything. We never said that. We're just talking about failures in our life, right? So real quick, when I got out of the military, I wanted to start a t-shirt business. That failed horribly. Nothing ever came from that. You know, just typical t-shirt drop shipping bullshit, you know, make money fast type situations. And then I wanted to do a YouTube channel that lasted about a week because I was so lazy and I didn't get that instant viral videos and crap. And Sony's a bunch of fucking haters, man. I did a Justin Timberlake. Anyway, they copyrighted my shit so damn fast. So I was like, man, fuck this. I'm not doing this. So anyway, that failed. I failed in the Navy. I consider it a failure because I was ready to quit. I was done. I could have gone the full 20. I went 13 and I stopped. So I did 3.5, man. Yeah. Well, I was close to 4, but well, imagine you're doing 13 and stepping out. Like I wanted, when I made E6, I made E6 at 10 years. So it took me a while to get there and I should have got there sooner, but it took me that long. And as soon as I made E6, I was like, man, I can actually go 20. Cool. So I wanted to give it I was ready to get out, but I was like, let me give it the old college try. I'm an E6 now. No, I was done. I was out. I was done. No, I was. So I consider that something of a failure. The cars that we had when we were younger, like we wanted us to be like the street racing team and all that stuff. We wanted to be fast, furious. With a Pontiac Sunfire and a Mazda Protege. We were gonna just rip up the road, right? My 2.2 liter. I didn't realize how feminine that car was until I actually, you know, looked at it, like really looked at it. I'm like, yeah, so my car's not even a Civic. Like, this is dude, we couldn't afford a Civic, man. But I had so much pride in it. But I was like, yo, this car is a female car, man. I did my best to make it look, you know, oh man, like that rice rice
burner feeling, but it just didn't work out. So that was a fail.
That was a huge fail.
I got my what is it? The Integra, Acura Integra.
Yeah.
Oh, limited edition, leather seats. That was the best car I had.
Mm-hmm.
Got it towed.
Ouch.
Yeah, I was working. I couldn't. I just couldn't come up with the money to whatchamacallit. I was like one of those smaller dealerships, like kind of like where you got your Sunfire.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the small dealerships, and they didn't waste no time to come get that. So that was a big fail too for me.
Yeah. So last one that I thought about was I said I failed in the Navy. The Navy was a failure, not in whole, but I couldn't go the full 20. You know what I mean? And that was my intention when I got in, just to retire out of the Navy after 20 years. But as an E6 and being an E6 in the military and the Navy is a big deal because it's not everybody gets to that point. But making E7 is a big deal. What?
No, I only made it to E3, man.
Well, so being E6 was a goal for mine because I came into the Navy in E3 because the job I had was a fire controlman, and they all start as E3s, but I would have been E3 anyway because I had 4 years of high school junior ROTC. Mm. So I started as E3. I made E4 relatively quickly because it's just a request shit. You don't really have to test out for it. Anyway, not like people know anything what I just said, but as an E6, that was my goal, to make E6, and we celebrated it. I was at home at my mom's house when I got the news that I made it. So I took them all out to Red Rock. We all celebrated. I failed as an E6, man. I was not a good petty officer or first class. I was not a good one. Mm. I cared more about people, but once I realized I wanted to get out, I started like chopping away at the give a fuck level. You know what I mean? So my ability to lead them, to be successful, I believe was low. I could have been way better. Another first class that really wanted to be there would have been better for him. So I consider that a failure. Anything else you want to go over before we? I
think I pretty much said all my pretty much big fails, man. But like I said, one of the biggest things about failure is you just embrace it. It's like part of being a man in a sort of way. You got to experience fails in order to grow, in order to actually become something. That's the way I look at fails. You just can't be afraid of it. Let's let it come, let it hit you. I'm not saying go out there and fail, but I'm saying like,
fuck it, yeah, say it. Like, oh, you're afraid to fail?
No,
huh? Bitch, you afraid of you afraid that things are gonna work out the way you want them to? Just like the game we played, right? The deal you made with the devil didn't work out too well, did it? We'll go over that in another episode. that's a whole lot of context that didn't sound right at all. But
no, like I said, I guess I am pretty much saying, you got to get out there and fail. If you don't experience failure, I really don't see how you can.
It's hard to succeed
reach
without
your
failure.
Potential. You gotta experience it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying do it on purpose. That's what I'm actually saying. Don't go out there and fail on purpose.
Oh,
well, you got to at least experience it. And look at it and acknowledge it and try your best not to let it happen again,
Yeah. Basically, if you're afraid of failure, get over it.
Yeah.
Get out there and fail some more. Like, go fail at something today and then take those lessons and apply it to something else or the same thing. Just don't do the same thing over again.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Consider failure bricks and you're trying to build a wall. Take all those failures, build them up to where now your wall is complete because you didn't stop because of that one failure.
Mm. All right, man. Yeah.
You all good?
I'm good.
All right. Well,
you feel like you're because it felt like a confession for you.
I've been holding on to this for so long.
Good Lord, I was listening to some things I ain't never thought you would say.
I got Mo.
Oh man,
I got Mo. I'm just not gonna say I'm here. We'll talk after.
All right.
Well, so this is Man First Podcast brought to you by Zero Grid Studios. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, go to our Facebook, go to our X, Rumble, Instagram, TikTok, and make sure you leave a comment and subscribe. We want to get 10,000 subscribers as fast as possible, whether it takes 6 months, whether it takes a year, whether it takes 5 days. It's up to y'all. So let us know what y'all think. Drop some comments down below on your failures.
Yeah.
Share your failures with the rest of us, because
we would like to read them.
I love reading failures because they're funny. You know what I mean? Enough time passes and it gets funny after a while, So hit us with some military folks out there. I know y'all know what I was talking about back then. I know y'all know the men at least. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I am Mixed.
I'm J0.
See you next time.
Later.